Howdy everybody, David Minkin here, starting player with Connect More, and welcome to another edition of 3TV, the tabletop view of tiny tabletoppers. So why don't you gather all your tiny tabletoppers around and let's start telling each other some stories using Rory's Story Cubes. Today I'm going to talk about the original Story Cubes, the additional voyages or green story cubes, and the action story cubes. My tiny tabletoppers absolutely love carrying these around and telling stories to each other. The time of this taping is October-November 2013. So you're going to see the littlest tiny tabletopper, he'll be around 2.5, and the oldest tiny tabletopper is about 3 3/4 of age. And you'll see different storytelling techniques as they go along in different ways that they use the dice. So enough with that, let's just get straight to seeing the tiny tabletoppers tell their stories, and I'll see you at the end for some final thoughts from the daddy tabletopper. Enjoy! Why don't you tell us a story?
Once upon a time in a far-off land, there lived a little sack who was walking along. And then he went to a castle. Then he played in the castle with some toys, and he also played a puzzle. And then when he was woken up from his nap, he went and sailed his ship and looked in a telescope. Then he found an arrow that was pointing up. Then he was going to use sunglasses. Then when he used the sunglasses, he had a map. Then, when he went to the map, he saw the buried treasure was along the island. And then, this was the buried treasure. And then, when he was done the buried treasure, he sailed his boat with the skeleton angry. The end.
Okay, let's roll the dice and tell a story.
And once upon a time, in the forest, he found the key. And once upon a time, in the forest, he found the lead. And once upon a time, in the forest, he found the big skeleton. And once upon a time, in the forest, he found a skeleton. And once upon
Is that a skeleton?
Yeah.
Okay, what's...
And all upon the forest, you found a fowl. And all upon the time in the forest, you found a bee. And all upon the forest, you found a necklace. And all upon the forest, you found a sad moon. And all upon the forest, yeah, I found a big monster, and he found a big boy. The end.
Thanks for the story, Finley.
You're welcome. The elephant is the starting one, Daddy.
You want to start with the elephant? Okay. Okay, here, let's roll the dice.
Once upon a time in a far-off land, there lived a little elephant who was walking along, and he found some jelly beans. And when he ate all the jelly beans, he tuned the monkey on. When he was looking at the monkey, he saw an octopus. And when he was looking at the octopus, he went into the water and found a submarine. And the submarine went up and played a tune. And when he was looking and playing a tune, he found a treasure chest.
Ooh.
And when he was looking at the goods, he went back home and ate some porridge. Then came out for the next day of walking site, going for another walk. The end.
The end?
Yeah.
Great story, Mason. Yay! Good job.
Some dice fall off.
All right. Well, did some dice fall off? Yeah. Now, Finley, do you want to tell a story with the blue dice? There's one.
Yeah?
And Mason, we can tell another story if you want with the black dice.
Once upon a time in a foreign land, there was a little man playing a fag, and he found a little fancy doll. And he rolled it, and he found I found a little book on. He found a little book on the floor, and he threw all these guys. He ate boy and he go for him. Let her walk, and the end.
The end. Good job. Good story, Finley.
Now that's what's good start. I'm gonna look for an aminal here.
Okay.
Aminal. The sheep is good start.
Okay. Let's go for it.
Once upon a time, in a far-off land, there lived a little sheep walking along. And when he was walking along, he saw a rainbow.
Ooh.
And when he was looking at the rainbow, he just saw the little turtle walking on top of the rainbow.
On top of the rainbow?
And he also just saw a magician.
Ooh.
Can I see the magician? He was going to look at the magician, and he saw some arrows pointing around and around. He saw a cane. He was looking at the cane. He saw a teepee. He was looking at the teepee, and he just he saw this lucky thing.
That lucky thing? What might that lucky thing be?
It's a fountain. When he was looking at the fountain, he went to a far-off land, and he played a lot in his room. The end.
The end. Good story. It sounds like that guy saw a lot of stuff, didn't he?
And he found a cow, and he goes ate the peanut butter and found someone, and he went down to go by a big opening.
Big opening?
Yeah, and he found a little bag and some teeth were in there. And he found a little gap, and he go to a birthday house. And when he was done the birthday house, he went and find some daily beans. And when he was done the daily beans, he found a flashlight. And when he done the flashlight, he found some sunglasses. And when he was done the sunglasses, he found a little boy and a big boy. When he was done those things, he found a little thing, a little TikTok. The end.
TikTok. Good story, Finley. Yeah. And then can I borrow 3 green dice?
He found a TikTok and an egg, and he found a little turtle, and he found a fight, and he found a flashlight, and when he was done the flashlight, he ate some boys, and he put some sago on it.
Ooh.
And he put a turtle on it.
Oh, was that a turtle?
Yeah, he put some turtle on his boys. And he put the knife on his boy, and he put the TikTok on his boy. He had all those things on his boy. And all upon them in the fire, he found a knife in a little opening, and then the monster come out of the little opening.
Ooh, yeah.
And he was done. He ate some jelly beans.
He ate some jelly beans. That's what I would eat after seeing a monster too.
And that's what I would eat after a monster.
Yeah.
He go. On the monster knocked. He knocked. Boy, you roll. And I'm give somebody that can boo some monsters and some goat.
And what do you say to the monster if he's in there?
No, come in here.
That's right. Get back in your closet, monster.
Get back in our closet. Better well.
Okay, Finley, we're going to do the monster dice. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me which one we should start with.
We should start with the octopus.
Okay, here, let's make sure we can see what we're doing. Once upon a time in a faraway land. In fact, it wasn't so far away. It was actually deep, deep down in the deepest of the darkest seas. There lived a little octopus. The little octopus has 8 legs to use to scroll around the bottom of the seabed. Now, what one should we use next, guys?
Elephant.
The elephant. In fact, did I say that the octopus was little? I meant he was little for an octopus, but he was still as big as an elephant. So this octopus would go around terrorizing all the other sea creatures because he was so big. Now, which one should we use next?
A present boy.
Present boy. In fact, the octopus, he was so terrifying to all the other sea creatures that most of them tried to avoid him, until there was one other little sea creature who lived deep down in the bottom of the deepest, darkest sea of the ocean. And he thought that maybe the big octopus was lonely. So one day he took a little present over to the octopus's house to get to know him and to show him that he cared and wanted to make him be his friend.
And he ate up some chocolate.
Yeah, so the big octopus invited him in and they shared some chocolate together and they became friends immediately.
Okay, can I see the chocolate?
Yeah. And then what dice should we use?
All of them.
Well, show me which one should be next.
These ones.
These 4 here?
Yeah.
So they were friends immediately, and so the little sea creature that came over to give the big octopus his gift, he chopped down all those stereotypes and barriers of what people thought of the big octopus, and they realized that the big octopus wasn't a big meanie after all. He was just big. So they headed outside and they invited all of their friends to go play some kickball. So they went out and they were playing some kickball, but since the octopus was so strong, he kicked the ball so hard that he hit one of the other little sea creatures in the head with the ball. And the other sea creatures started crying. Wah! And the big octopus felt really bad. Now what dice should we use?
Please.
He felt really bad. So he thought, how can I make this guy feel better? I know, I'll put on a puppet show for him. So the big octopus ran back to his house and grabbed, what kind of puppets do you think he has?
Donkey.
Sock puppets. So he grabbed some sock puppets, but remember how many legs and arms the octopus has?
How?
Does he have 2?
8.
He has 8. He had to grab 8 sock puppets. And it was the biggest and grandest sock puppet show of them all because the big octopus had so many fingers and legs that he could use to put his sock puppets on. Now what should we say?
Toot.
So the big octopus, he walked home that day feeling very happy. He had made some new friends. Now what? When he got home, he realized that there was a little bit of the chocolate left over, but it was high up on the counter where he couldn't reach. So he got way up on his tippy toes to try to grab the chocolate. But the scale or his balance had flipped over like a scale that was out of balance, and he flopped down onto the ground. Plunk. Then what happened?
Went and drawed some paper onto a hippo.
So after that, he went and drew a hippo. Yeah. After that, he figured.
No, that is called a turtle.
That's called a turtle.
That was a hippo.
Or you know what Daddy sees when Daddy sees it? Daddy sees a gate. But we'll say it's a turtle.
Huh?
So then the big octopus decided maybe he should just relax. So he sat down to draw a turtle. Or hippo. He drew both. He drew both a turtle and a hippo. And then what happened? What dice should he use next?
He went out to fish.
Oh, and after that he went out to fish. And what was he fishing for?
A shark.
A big shark. And then what happened? We have 3 dice left.
Ooh, he broke a glass window.
He broke a glass window. Now, how did he break a glass window fishing? Was that because when he cast his rod, the hook went way back, went into a glass window?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
He went out and thumbed over his sacky yak.
What did he do? I didn't understand
He went
that.
over and tacky him.
I don't understand that, Mason.
Tacky?
Mason, is that a real word?
Yeah.
He went out and...
Went out and jumps.
He went out and did a big jump?
Yeah.
And why did he jump?
Because he was going shooting stars.
He went, took a big jump, and made a wish upon a shooting star that tomorrow would be as great as it was today, meeting new friends and playing wonderful games and making crazy sock puppet theater. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed all those different ways of telling stories. As you can see, there's loads of different ways that these cubes can be used. And so the general gist of this entire game, as you can see, is you basically just take the dice out, you roll them up, and you see what pops up and you start telling a story. It's that simple. The boys will go through a variety of different phases of doing this. Sometimes they like to stick just to one color. Other times we just mix them all together, just like this. It doesn't really matter. I mean, just roll some dice and away you go. It's that simple. The really interesting thing about Rory Story Cubes is, as I understand, it actually originated as a Rubik's Cube with different pictures on either side of the Rubik's Cube, and you mash up the Rubik's Cube in different ways, and then you pick a side with 9 images on it, and then you tell the story. I really enjoy this game for the kids because, as you can see, sometimes when they roll the dice, they're quite literal about what they see. They say, oh, once upon a time there was a little boy and a monster, and then there was a boy crying, and then there was this, and you saw all of those in the example. But as they've been getting older and progressing, they're starting to loop together and take one particular die, and they're able to form not just a single sentence out of it, but create more paragraphs out of it. And I find that the thing about this game is, as a parent, check your ego at the door. Just throw it out. Remember that first time you're out in a public place and your little toddler pooped his pants and you had to deal with it, and people are looking at you, the yuppies, or like the Griswold family Christmas neighbors are looking at you with a look of disgust, and you just don't care because you have a little toddler that needs you, you have pee running down the sidewalk, there's some weird foul smell coming out of wherever it might be. You just check your ego at the door and you just deal with the situation. Well, this game is like that. Just check any inhibitions you have at the door. Just roll the dice and do something silly, because this is one of those games where the kids are going to watch how you do this, and they're going to learn their behavior from you on this game. And this is a fantastic game as a parent where you just let loose. Who cares? Who cares if other parents are around, or if other kids are around and they want to see what you're doing? Just grab the bull by the horns and show your kids and just be silly and just go for it. And the first couple of times I did this, I felt like a schmuck. But my kids watched me. They said, you know what? You know, every time I pull these out, at least I'm going to try to do something. I mean, sometimes I get stories, they just get so ridiculously silly and they go down some path that I would never even think of going down. But that's the beauty of these story cubes, is they give you a chance just to be silly. And your kids see that. They are going to see that from you, and they're going to take that from you. And so you can see with my kids, we've been using these story cubes now for, I would say, about 6 months or so, and now they're willing just to go for it and at least just make something up. And the first time they did it, they did one dice, and then they looked at it and they go, well, I don't know what to do with the other dice, and they kind of stopped. But then as a parent, just showing them and being an example to them and just going for it and just being as silly as you can be, it just doesn't matter. And when I started off doing this as well, I just started doing one symbol for one sentence, and then my stories were essentially 9 sentences long. Whereas now you're getting a lot more creative. I'm even starting to use these for a bedtime story. You just say, okay, kids, pick some dice, and off we go, and we can do this cooperatively, and you saw an example of that. We can also do this individually, which is really great, because then as an individual, my 2 boys like to see what each other sees on these different symbols. And you also saw in the playthrough, by the 2 boys choosing different colors that they wanted to play with, they actually were even practicing turn taking, because the one boy would actually tell the story, one tiny tabletopper would tell a story, and the other one would be arranging his dice and getting ready. And then you saw there was an actual flow, almost like doing turn taking in an actual game, like a normal game, a non-storytelling game. Now there's other storytelling games out there. You can use Dixit cards. You can use those and give those to your kids and have them tell stories based on the cards and just flip the cards one over the other. There's also Atlas Games does one, Once Upon a Time. There's another story. There's loads of these different storytelling cards and things you can use. Why do I like Rory Story Cubes? Because just exactly like this, my kids love to roll the dice. They love to do that. And the other nice thing is you can just take a bag like this. This is a bag my sister made for me, so thank you very much. And it's used for holding different things. Just put all the dice in here, and away you go. So then you can just take these along with you. It's in your bag of tricks. Off you go to the park, and while you're at it, throw in a game of Hive here for you and the missus, and you're good to go. So then when you get out to the park, you just take out some dice, roll them, chuck them, you're good to go. And you can do this at any time while you're waiting for pizza, what have you. And the kids really enjoy it. There's a high portability factor to this as well. There's a whole variety of ways to play. I can't even begin to describe them. You saw them in the playthrough. Some things you saw that my son likes to do, he likes to find a starting point, and he always likes to do an animal, and that's fine. He likes to do a sheep or a snake or what have you, and that's his starting point, and then he'll make the rest of the story go around that. Another thing you can do is you can actually give them a theme. You can give them a title, and then try to relate the entire story back to that theme. You can play cooperatively, you can play in turns. Whatever you want to do, your imagination controls this game. So if you have a endless imagination, well then this game will be completely endless for you. So what types of skills do I see actually being developed in here? Of course, creativity. That's the number one thing. Sometimes though you'll see it's being very literal. There's not much creative about it. Just saying this is a bridge, this is an angry guy, this is what have you. But as they get more and more comfortable with it, and again by following your example of how to play this game with them, you'll start seeing a lot of creative little tendrils of the story, little tentacles of the story kind of come out, and you'll see them exploring and thinking and using these as catalysts for their creativity, which is really great. Storytelling, again, this is just wonderful, wonderful mechanic for storytelling. That being said, I use games just in general for storytelling. The big thing right now at our house is Castle Panic, so I'm always telling stories with orc warlords and troll mages, but this gives Daddy a break from that realm, and I'm allowed to do something a little little different. I can talk about the turtle or the troll living underneath the bridge, and away you go. Again, creative problem solving is great for this as well, because they need to figure out, well, how am I going to use all of these dice, and in what situation can I do this? And you can see at their age, it's still a little bit difficult because the stories don't really have a real flow to them. Sometimes if they get stuck, then they just basically stop and then start again in a completely shifted spot. But that's fine, because you have to learn somehow. And again, the thing that this really helps out is with your social skills and your ability to sit and listen. This is the really great thing I like about this game, is that as a little kid, to sit and listen to another little kid tell his entire story is a great skill to have. As a parent, I still don't have this skill, and it's something that's good for me to sit and patiently listen to my kid try to tell a story. And it's so easy to want to jump in there, and it's really a great patience teaching exercise, just to have somebody sit here and have everybody else just sit and listen. And it also helps the person too with potential stage fright as well, because they know that they have everyone is listening to them, and it helps build their confidence as well in being able to tell stories and being able to captivate an audience. So I find that to be a really exceptional skill that this game works on, especially at this age, is the ability to think under pressure and to be able just to have the floor to yourself, and to teach people how to allow people to have the floor to themselves. So I really think that is fantastic for that. So I highly recommend this game. In fact, Christmas is coming up. This would make an excellent stocking stuffer for you and your little geek, and you can just sit around and tell all kinds of crazy and silly stories. And I believe there's another 3 expansions coming out. I can't remember what they are, but there's more dice being come out. Just mix and match them, throw them around, and just make whatever crazy story that you want. So I'm really glad that you stopped by and watched me and my tiny tabletoppers present to you Rory Story Cubes. We had a great time doing it, and we love telling stories with each other. So again, if you love seeing this, please drop by my Facebook page, Facebook Connect More Board Games, or subscribe to my YouTube page. That would be really great and really encouraging, and we always have more videos coming out. I try to do them once every 10 days or so, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.